All right, so we got the Oscars coming up. Looks like they are going to be next month. And so, for those of you that care about it or will be watching it, yes, it will be televised allegedly. But we'll get in that. Let's take a look at the 2022 Oscar nominations. And who did you think was going to get in there? Not Marvel. All right, let's go ahead. So, from People 2022 Oscar nominations, Will Smith, Kristen Stewart scored nods. The Power of the Dog leads with 12. 94th Annual Academy Awards will be held at Hollywood's Dolby Theater on Sunday, March 27th. On Tuesday morning, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Science announced nomination for the 94th Annual Academy Awards. The ceremony is set to air at Hollywood's Dolby. Let's see. The Power of the Dog earned 12 nominations, including for real life couple Kirsten Dunst and Jesse Plemons. I don't think I've ever heard that name before. Kirsten Dunst. Yes, I have. Who played husband and wife in the drama Dune, the sci-fi epic starring Timothée Chalamet, earned 10 nods, while Belfast and West Side Story got 7. And right there, I think West Side Story was one of those ones we knew wasn't going to do super well at the box office, but was probably going to be getting some Oscar nominations or Academy, whatever you call them. What was the one with Ricky Gervais? Said they did. I don't know. They got the BAFTAs and the Academy Awards, which is the Oscars. Well, I forget what the other Golden Globes, So I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff that films like West Side Story that do not very remarkable at the box office. They'll get some award nominations and whatnot. Because they play a lot of times for those more than they do for the audience. But it's another story for another day. Will Packer is producing the broadcast this year, with Glenn Weiss directing the ceremony. The Emmy nominee behind the movies like Girls Trip Straight Outta Compton and Stomp the Yard said in press release, "The power, the beauty, the romance of the imagery in movies has always attracted me. I'm fully embracing the challenge of bringing an ode to one of the most iconic mediums in the world to life. What an honor." Now, look, so I've said this several times before. I am a filmmaker myself. It'd be awesome to win an Academy Award, but at the same time, I'd rather my film do well at the box office than win an award. I'd like to make sure that I'm making films, that the audience wants to see, that people will pay money to go see. Not because I want to make the money, but that's as an artist. I like this show. I hope the show ends up garnering significantly more followers and subscribers and whatever, viewers, than we have right now. Not because of, for my glory, even though I'll certainly bask in it. That'd be great. But because there is an art to it, there's, a message, there is a service being provided. So just like with films, that's art, and you want to get it out there in the world, and, you want to share it with as many people as you can. Same thing here for the podcast. I'm hoping more people get to see it because they get to hear from a different perspective, from different resources that we use on this show to point out different things in the news that's going on. So yeah, I should probably be more excited about the Academy Awards, but the thing is everything right now in Hollywood has continued to get so much more political, and backdoor deals happening, and it's really made me not want to be part of that Hollywood scene, which is okay because I live in Georgia, and it is quickly becoming one of the hotbeds for filmmaking. I think we are number one in the U.S. for film productions, or were not too long ago anyway, beating out New York and L.A. So I know Georgia's getting up there. I'm not in Atlanta, but I did shoot there this past weekend. That was pretty cool in a studio. But I digress. We'll move on about the Oscars, because I'm sure everyone's more interested about the Oscars than me and my film career. But moving on. So ABC previously confirmed there will be a host for this year's ceremony, though it hasn't been announced who will MC. The show has gone hostless since Jimmy Kimmel headlined back in 2018. Well, how are you going to top Jimmy Kimmel? He's the perfect left-wing system child that can go out there and make sure he pushes the narrative. And yeah, you're gonna have to find somebody else equally as awful. And look, again, I'm not against the left because I agree with the left on a lot of ideology things. I mostly lean to the right. Fair enough. I try to be more centrist and see things from every perspective, but there's definitely some things on the left that I can get behind. But right now, they seem to kind of be running wild. So sorry if that offends you, but he's their boy, and I just not a fan anymore. I don't know what happened to him. He became part of the machine because he used to be pretty funny. He used to do some great stuff. Now it's just trying to carry out the mission of whatever that is. But yeah, remember to tune in on Sunday, March 27th on what do they say, ABC. They promised to have a host this time. Maybe. We'll see. All right, let's keep going. Moving on. So one of the most talked about films that's coming out this year is The Batman. I've already said my piece about it, and I'll say it again. There are some films I'm looking forward to that are coming out this year. The Batman's not one of them. It's not just because of Robert Pattinson, but it is because of Robert Pattinson. And we're going to get into some of that here in just a minute as to why there's some things that off about Robert Pattinson playing Batman. You know, there was the big ordeal that the director, I forget his name, Matt, we'll read it in a minute, I can't remember, apparently wanted him to bulk up and get big for the part, and when he came back he wasn't, and said he didn't want to because he didn't want to kind of create that kind of look or that kind of character again. He wanted to do something different, and apparently the director wasn't very happy about that. So there's some issues there from what I've heard. If the rumor mill is true, the trailer or pretty much any of the trailers, the good part in it and the one everyone talks about is where he's just pounding some dude in the pavement there. But other than that, I didn't think anything was that special about it. I didn't think the car was that special. I didn't think the makeup was that special. I didn't think that the costume was that special. I didn't think that the overdubbing of the Riddler, what he had to say, was that special. So maybe I'm just being pessimistic, but I don't know. I think it's going to do well in the box office. We did talk about that before. I think this is one that's going to do well at the box office. I just don't think it's going to be that good. But I hope I'm wrong because I love Batman. I love Batman. I know you can't. I don't know. You might can see it. Hold on. You can't see it too good. Right here is an autographed little picture, card, whatever, from Adam West from when he was playing Batman. Well, not from when he was playing. He had already got finished playing it, but I was a little kid and I got that from Adam West. So that was pretty cool. I mean, Batman's my favorite superhero. Up there with Wolverine and Gambit and some of those other guys, but what was that? But yeah, Batman's my dude. So I'm really hoping that Robert Pattinson can pull it off. Again, I'm not too sure that's going to be the case, but yeah, wishful thinking here. Let's check this out. From Insider, Robert Pattinson says he felt like an idiot because he didn't realize that Batman is the world's greatest detective. And I hate to judge a book by its cover. My buddy and I were working on a project, and I've seen some of the footage. And of course, I probably jumped on a little too early to give him some judgment calls, some criticisms about things to do before he put his final touches on there. Just trying to do my part and help out, but at the same time, I know he's going to do awesome. I know he's going to do amazing. Problem is, I don't know if these guys are. So maybe I'm being too judgmental too early on, saying he looks just like emo Bruce Wayne, and I'm just not digging the look of anything in this film so far, really. But again, maybe I'm jumping the gun. I don't know. Robert Pattinson spoke to GQ about how the Batman focuses on the titular character as a detective, which that part's pretty cool. Pattinson said he feels like an idiot for not knowing Batman is called the world's greatest detective. The Batman hits theaters on Friday, March 4th. Oh, okay. So Yeah, that's really soon. So, and I may go see that. I may go see that again. I'm a huge Batman fan, but we'll see. Matt Reeves, that's his name, Matt Reeves, says Robert Pattinson said that he wasn't familiar with Bruce Wayne / the Batman's detective side before signing on to play the Cape Crusader in Matt Reeves' The Batman. Watched a rough cut of the movie by myself, and the first shot is so jarring from any other Batman movie that it's just kind of a totally different pace, Pattinson said in a March 2022 cover story for GQ released on Tuesday. So March 2022 cover story released on Tuesday at the beginning of February. I don't know if I'm reading that wrong or if that's just the way it's done. He continued, it is what Matt was saying from the first meeting I had with him. I want to do a 70s noir detective story like The Conversation, and I kind of assumed that meant the mood, bored of something, the look of it, but from the first shot, it's, this actually is a detective story. Patton says he feels like an idiot, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, so I'm kind of cool about the whole detective thing. I'm interested to see how they go in that, because even though that's always been there, I'd like to see them focus more on that, and I think that could be really, really cool. So I'm sure the story is probably good, and maybe I'm just giving Pattinson a hard time, even though I had seen him in some good roles. So I'm not trying to dump on him completely, but at the same time, and we'll get to another article here in a second, but it does say that first shot or that first opening scene was jarring, and we've heard stuff like that from like Kevin Smith about films and how he cried when he saw the ending or the opening or whatever. So a lot of this is probably just talking points too, but maybe he's right. Let's see here at MovieWeb. It says the Batman early reaction calls the DC outing complex and controversial. An alleged first reaction to the Batman calls director Matt Reeves' take on DC superhero iconic complex and controversial. An alleged first reaction has called the directors yada yada yada. This exciting and intriguing description comes courtesy of editor-in-chief of AwardsAce.com and continues with comparisons between the Batman and several cinematic classics from Chinatown to The Silence of the Lambs. Now that's awesome. Here's a tweet said, received a text from a source who's seen the Batman, calling it a complex film, comparing it to Zodiac, which was awesome. Chinatown, I don't know if I've seen that one. Usual Suspects, which was great. Silence of the Lambs, which was awesome. Source also stating it will be controversial and people will discuss it endlessly. So, unfortunately, in 2022, controversial could mean all kinds of things. With agendas and politics and everything coming into play in a lot of films, and this forced, inclusions and diversities, and making sure we hit all of our agenda points and everything. Controversial could be something along those lines, or it can finally be a real good escape from all that. Get that escapism that we're looking for. As one of the people that commented on one of my videos recently was talking about, that escapism is a huge thing. Absolutely. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe it doesn't hit those little, check boxes of diversity and inclusion and this and this and this to the point that, maybe people think it should, now that they've been conditioned to think that way. So maybe it's controversial in the sense that it's actually a pretty good movie at just, being an entertaining movie. Side note, and I would love to see you guys comment down below. Got a question for you here. So this movie is being compared to several other films. One of them is The Usual Suspects. Usual Suspects stars Kevin Spacey. I believe that Kevin Spacey is one of the best actors I've ever seen. I loved watching Kevin Spacey and everything, but he's a pedo perv, and now he's not getting any work. How do you feel about things like that? Those controversies that pretty much blacklist certain actors or actresses for things that happen. Do you still feel comfortable watching those films? Do you feel uncomfortable watching those films? Do you want to see them continue to make films, or do you agree that they should be, axed and no longer allowed to be part of that community and make films anymore? And if they did, would they be supported? I would be very interested to see what you have to think. So if you will, in the comments below, put your thoughts in there, and let me know what you think about Kevin Spacey or any of these other, I don't know, mine's blank right now, but actors that have kind of been, blacklisted for stuff like that. Also, too, as a reminder, any of these links that I'm going to, these sites I'm going to, all the links will be below in the show notes, so you can check that out as well, and go behind me to see what's going on there. But I'll let you guys continue reading that one on your own. Let's see what else we got here in entertainment world over at AV Club. It says Lucasfilm has reportedly realized it should only be making Star Wars stuff now. It'd be great if they could focus on making good Star Wars stuff, but that's just my opinion. Let's go on down here. I keep repeating myself when I lead the little taglines, don't I? In 2019, Disney picked up the rights to Tommy Adam's Yaw book, Children of Blood and Bone. Sorry if I don't know how to pronounce things. I just move over that. So, no disrespect, but that's, I think less disrespectful than just butchering it outright. I'm not even trying. Children of Blood and Bone, a fantasy story that had apparently made an impression on Lucasfilm boss Kathleen Kennedy and was set to become that studio's first completely new thing, unrelated to Star Wars or Indiana Jones or any other George Lucas legacy properties, since getting acquired by Disney. That's a big deal, since whatever happened with Children of Blood and Bone would then speak to whatever Kennedy and Disney had in mind for Lucasfilm after the new Star Wars trilogy had ended. Maybe they should have just moved on and left Star Wars alone. I feel like Kathleen Kennedy and Disney have really put a stain on the Star Wars franchise. Maybe you feel different. Again, you can leave a comment below and let me know. I read every comment. There's not that many of them to read, so I'll read them. But yeah, they really put a stain on Star, and they're probably about to on Indiana Jones too, because I don't think Crystal Skull wasn't Disney. I don't believe that one was rough, really rough. And they're working on the new one. I think Harrison Ford got injured on the set because he's a little up there to be playing it. Now he's probably in better shape than I am, but still to be doing the Indiana Jones kind of stuff. I don't know. But, man, I don't know. Just not a Kathleen Kennedy or Disney fan, especially with the Star Wars. You can see where they've started messing up with Marvel. I think you can see that. And it's definitely obvious in Star Wars. So maybe they should have gotten away from it, but maybe now if they're going to focus on it, they can actually focus on it instead of trying to crank one out every year or, a new show every 6 months or something like that to get those viewers or get those dollars or box office or whatever. Maybe they can take their time and make some good films. I know they're capable of doing it. I just think they're cranking them out, one after the other just to get that dollar bill, y'all, I guess. Let's see. Now, that's exactly what's happening, but not in the way anyone expected. According to the Hollywood Reporter, Disney and Lucasfilm allowed the rights to Children of Blood and Bone to lapse after deciding to just focus on Star Wars, making it pretty clear that Disney's plan for Lucasfilm involved making the same old stuff, and that's about it. I don't like the way that's worded, the same old stuff, even though that is kind of what they're doing, is they're making the same old stuff, just, slapping a new shill of paint on there or whatever. It would be great to see some new stuff from the old stuff, inspired by the old stuff. And the story goes on, but, hey, ICP, I hadn't seen those guys in a while, but yeah, it's, got it. Thanks. But yeah, I'd be interested to know what you guys think. Should they be just focused on Star Wars stuff now, or what? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Last couple things here we're going to get to. Jimmy Carr. I think Jimmy Carr is an excellent comedian. I don't always get his jokes. It's not my sense of humor all the time, but I think he's hilarious. But he made a joke. They said it's a holocaust joke, but it is and it isn't. I'm gonna pull it up real quick and let you guys see it and see for yourselves. All right, let's take a look at this.
Right, this should be a career end. Okay, strap in, everyone. You ready?
He knows going into it, it's gonna be a fun one. That's always great.
When people talk about the Holocaust, when people talk about the Holocaust, they talk about the tragedy and horror of 6 million Jewish lives being lost to the Nazi war machine.
I'm just gonna pause it. I've had a couple of videos already trying to get copyright strike, so or copyright claimed rather, not strike. So I'm gonna try to avoid that a little bit if I can here.
But they never mention the thousands of gypsies that were killed by the Nazis. No one ever wants to talk about that because no one ever wants to talk about the positives.
All right, there's more to this bit. This is just a 2-minute bit, and this is from Jewish News's YouTube channel because it's dealing with the Holocaust, I guess. But I'll have a link for that in the show notes below. I would go check it out. In fact, I would watch the special. This was pretty funny to me, but I wanted to pull it up this way on YouTube and not just the video, in my little screen here. I wanted to look at the comments with you guys. So as we go on down. Comedy is an art form just like any other, and it makes people think and it challenges people's assumptions. This is a comedian basically just doing his job. There's no such thing, Michael Scott. There's no such thing as an appropriate joke. That's why it's a joke. Let's see. Find a short one. Nothing wrong with this joke. Hilarious, crying throughout the whole show. Calm down. It wasn't even the worst joke of the set. People that don't like this comedy don't watch it. They say safety in numbers. Try telling that to 6 million Jews. Carr. Ooh. Not the first time, won't be the last either. You can't cancel Jimmy. There was one in here I thought I saw. Somebody said they were a Jew or they were something. He's a comedian with a long history of telling jokes. If he had been a politician, if it had been said as a political statement, then that's another story. Very true. But I can't find that other one I was looking for. But it goes on, and yeah, I mean, it is what it is. If you don't like it, that's cool. Leave your comments below. In fact, I liked it. Hey, good job, guys. Thumbs up. And I don't have that Chrome browser extension. I can't really check out and see what's up. But let's go back over here to this article real quick. Comedian Jimmy Carr faces backlash over Holocaust joke in Netflix special. Comedian Jimmy Carr has landed himself in hot water for making light of the Holocaust in his new Netflix stand-up special, His Dark Material. In a widely shared clip, Carr makes a joke about the Gypsy, Roma, and people slaughtered by Nazi Germany. When people talk about the Holocaust, that's his joke. We just talked about that. Here's a tweet of somebody being butthurt. I don't know what I should be more gutted or disgusted by here. The kind of racism that us GRT people are forced to live with every day, that it's absolutely okay to demonize us and our demise as a joke, or the reactions of whooping and cheering from the audience. Maybe you should just learn how to take a joke. I mean, I get that people don't, like jokes made about them if it's in jest or whatever, but one of the comments, and I didn't, again, that's one of the other ones I didn't see in there. It was that through his comedy here, he's also educating us where a lot of people may not have known that gypsies or Roma or whatever were also slaughtered in the Holocaust. And he brings light to that in his own little way, I guess. But I like Jimmy Carr. Jimmy Carr's funny. I know it goes on. I didn't until just recently hear, and I heard this from somebody I know. They said that, they said that, that gypsy is a derogatory term. It's a slur. And I've never heard that. In fact, my wife used to watch some show, some gypsy show. I can't remember what it was called. Gypsy Sisters, maybe? Is that it? I don't know. I think it was Gypsy Sisters, maybe. But she used to watch that, and the fact that they said gypsy all the time, or they did say Roma and some of the other terms or whatnot. But the fact that the show was called Gypsy Sisters, I definitely wouldn't have thought that gypsy was a slur, but apparently it is. But good on Jimmy for going out there and taking a chance and making a joke. I get that people are going to be offended by it, and they're going to try to cancel him for it more than likely. But you know what? Funny be funny. And not everybody gets the joke. Not everybody will get all the jokes. I think we need to start laughing together again, because when we can laugh at ourselves and laugh at each other without judgment or worry of cancellation or anything like that, we don't have time to fight each other. We don't have time to nitpick at each other. So let's try it. Let's start laughing together. Just a suggestion. Hey guys, thanks for checking out this clip from the Morning Mayhem. Remember, this is just a portion of the full show that comes out every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you hadn't already, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the full shows or these tasty little nuggets.